My name is Ajay. I'm the assistant curator at the Madras Crocodile Bank, and I've been here for the better part of 8 years. The Croc Bank was set up and became open to the public in 1976. And the idea at the time when the Croc Bank was set up was to breed the three species of Indian crocodilians, which are the mugger, the saltwater, and the gharial in captivity, and repatriate individuals to the wild. So it was set up as a breeding center in the mid 70s. Initially, I suppose we were too successful in the 80s with the breeding of the animals because we ended up with, currently we have over 2000 of these animals over here. Several of them, both hatchlings and eggs, have been distributed to various state forest departments across the years. And a lot of animals bred here have been used to repopulate wild populations. But in the mid 90s, the government of India stopped what they called Project Crocodile, which was something similar on the lines of Project Tiger and Project Elephant. It was a way of protecting these animals, and they requested all institutions housing crocodiles to stop breeding them because they felt that the wild populations had recovered to a sufficient degree. So us and several other facilities like this now keep these animals as a genetic repository more than anything else.
Yes, I think when I think about the Crocodile Bank, or the Croc Bank as we call it, the thing that really comes to mind is how, we say from small acorns to big oaks. It started off as a very, very small project with a 5,000 rupee grant from World Wildlife Fund, and now it's grown into one of the biggest conservation NGOs in the country, and the only one which specifically focuses on reptiles.
My personal opinion is that a well-maintained zoo with healthy animals is a huge asset to the community. There's something about seeing an animal in the flesh, that's a much more evocative experience. Even if you have a nice HD TV at home and you can watch it on the TV, it's still definitely a much more evocative experience to see an animal in the flesh. Some of the interesting things that people can see at the Croc Bank in captivity include things like India's only Komodo dragons. They're the largest lizard species in the world and really interesting and impressive looking animals. They're not housed anywhere else in India. We have a pair of green anacondas on display. These were the first anacondas brought to the country again way back in 2011. They've grown a lot now on exhibit here. Apart from being a zoo, what most people don't realize about the Croc Bank probably is that we have such a large footprint in other spheres of conservation. We're not restricted to just getting these crocodiles into cages and monitor lizards and anacondas into cages. One of our main, and one of the things that probably everybody associated with the Croc Bank is most proud of, is the fact that we have actually contributed to the tangible conservation of several ecosystems, not only rainforests, not only islands, not the river systems of North India. We've done extensive field work in all these places as well, and that's something that I think a lot of people don't know about. We have colleagues studying the ecology of king cobras in Agumbe. One of our colleagues is doing his PhD on the ecology of mugger crocodiles in the Kaveri Delta. We study coral reef ecology in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. We study the endemic species of the islands there. We have a radio telemetry project on gharial, which is the most endangered Indian crocodilian, and some fantastic information we've learned over the last decade or so by following these animals around with transmitters attached to them. So apart from the Komodos and the anacondas, of course, we also house India's largest captive crocodile. His name is Jaws, and he's a 16.5-foot, 48-year-old saltwater crocodile. So we do feeding shows with him every Sunday where the public gets to see him get his lunch and they learn a bit about crocs. He's definitely a sight to behold.
We now have 4.5 lakh people coming every year to visit the Croc Bank. So there's that much education and absorption of conservation material going on. We have a large project on snakebite mitigation. So we go out to schools and colleges and talk about the problem and how not to get bitten and what to do if bitten. Well, my passion, I think, comes from the fact that I grew up in a family of conservationists and writers. So you grew up thinking that the only worthwhile thing to do in life is conservation. And of course, it's also a truth.